All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Boss and the Brewer podcast, episode number 43. It's kind of crazy to think that we've been doing this for 43 episodes. I wonder when a year would be. It's like probably, it wouldn't be too far off because we've missed a couple of weeks, but we've been reasonably consistent with it. So today's episode, it's actually been a really big week. We've got 3 or 4 different crowdfunding campaigns that are live. There's sort of information out there for that. There's end of financial year results for Gage Roads, some news from Lion from overseas, and some good content that's been written that we're going to discuss as well. And we've also got a lot of good questions from the group, which is really awesome. I only put in this afternoon and had like 8 or 9 really awesome questions. So it's going to be a great episode. Hendo is here ready to go. We're probably going to be streaming this live into the Boss and the Brewer Facebook group as well. So if you're listening on the audio stream or YouTube, then join us in the group, facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer.
Hello.
There's the big fella, the boss man. You're right there.
What's going
on? I decided instead of waiting for you kind of twiddling my thumbs, I'd do a little bit of an intro and give people a heads up on the stuff we're going to be talking about.
Oh, what did you say?
Well, I'm not going to say it again because everyone's already heard it.
Oh, I'm sure there's a thing in Adsy's podcast app to just cut it out so you don't have to repeat it. Like cuts out the silences and cuts out the repetition.
Out for him, though. Everyone else is going to hear it, right?
Oh yeah,
that's not going to work.
Oh, how is your day going?
Good. Yeah, it's good.
You know how mine's going?
Go on.
Smooth as butter.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Have you been on a field trip?
The last couple of days I've been in Melbourne. I just got back this evening. I've only been back like an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Like everything, I got up like at 4 o'clock yesterday morning. I got the first flight down to Melbourne, straight on the plane, flying business class, fucking sick, get off the plane, no baggage to didn't check any baggage, straight off the plane, straight out of the airport, straight on the Sky Bus, had a go-get car in the city, walked up that, jumped in the car, drive down to Dainton to go see Kaiju. Good session with the Kaiju crew. Back in the car, cruised back, had a bite to eat. Went to the David Cryer thing last night.
Oh, did you?
Got up again today and went and saw Dan up at Tall Boy and Moose and went to the airport and business class the way back.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Who pays for all this? Is frequent flyer points.
Well, I get free upgrades now that I'm platinum.
Amazing.
You got to do it, man.
I don't travel enough. Well, having said that, I have been to Melbourne twice in the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's good.
I went to Kaiju when I was down there as well. Just randomly, just rocked up out the front, and
yeah,
they spent like an hour with us. I kind of felt bad. It was the day of the Abers, but they were awesome.
Oh, wonderful people.
Yeah, so cool.
That was the Let's see if I can bring up the old live stream there. Where are you?
Gordon McGregor says evening gents. What beer you
evening
got, mate?
Gents. Excellent. There we go.
You got a Hollandia or something? Or?
I've got some interesting stuff. I'm just going to have the one beer this evening. I've got this one beer here. Little shorty can from Tall Boy and Moose.
Oh yeah, let me take. Wow, that's a very small can.
Yeah, how many standos you reckon it is though?
What sort of beer is it?
It is an ice. It's an ice bock.
An ice bock. It's 2 standos.
2? Higher.
Is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Keep going. Have another guess.
What's that? That's a what, a 250ml can?
Fuck. A 250ml can, yeah.
I'm not going higher than 2.5.
Higher.
It can't be higher.
It is higher.
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what it is.
It's 3.9 standos.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Are you joking?
3.9. Have a look at this. Look at that. It's 20% ABV.
God. That's insane. Wait, let me get the photo again. I'm gonna get a photo of that.
Oh, the 20%?
Yeah. That's insane.
How is it? Should I do it? Or I've got a
Should I do it? You need my permission. Jesus.
well, I've got that, a Jack Daniels and an all-in hazy IPA.
Oh yeah.
20% is a fucking ridiculous. And that's not the strongest beer I got from Tall Boy Moose today.
What?
I got another one in the fridge. It's a bottle, and it's the ice distilled version of this, and it's 30%.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's sick.
How do you do? Well, let's not talk about that right now, because we've got 1,000 questions and that wasn't one of them. I sound like Jay-Z right now.
Like that time you ran into him.
I ran into Jay-Z. No,
was it Jay-Z?
That was Warning.
Who was it?
Oh, Ja Rule. Ja Rule. Caught up with as opposed to ran into. You said ran into, didn't you?
Well, this smells delicious.
So does this. Wait, so which one did you end up drinking? That one?
Oh, yummy. Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Are you drinking that same beer?
No, that's the all-in hazy IPA I've got there.
Christ, I was going to say.
Wow.
Is this a sponsored beer or no?
It is a sponsored beer. It's just pineapple out the wazoo.
Nice.
Packaged on the 5th of May.
Wow.
What?
Over 3 months old.
Tasting fresh as fuck.
That's amazing.
Well, there you go.
All right. I don't have any sponsored beer. I don't know where you're getting all this beer from, but we've got 2 biscuit beers coming out. So these are 2 staff beers. This is Luke's Pipe Dream Monte Carlo Biscuit Brown Ale. So it's F1 themed. That's Luke driving the F1 car, Monte Carlo.
Yeah, awesome.
God, it tastes good. It actually does just taste like a Monte Carlo biscuit.
Yeah, awesome.
And I got another one, Amos's one as well, which I'll get into.
Yeah, fantastic, man.
Did you see the question thread in the group?
No, I haven't. I kind of looked at it on the plane, but I haven't really seen it.
We've got some awesome questions.
Yeah, sick. All right.
But
well, I won't look at it then.
There's also a lot
Hello, Gordon. Hello, Gordon. As Dave Lavin. Excellent. Nice to see you from West Side. Scott Angel is there. Awesome. Great to see you, guys.
Yeah, we've got some people on the live stream. Very good. So I guess if those guys got questions, feel free to fire them out.
Yeah, you can just comment and I can see it on my other screen here. So
yeah, but we've got a lot to get through because we've got this is probably our biggest agenda we've ever had. We've got 8 solid stories, and then we've got a lot of really good questions. So let's get
let's send it then.
We've got number 1, which is I think one you sent to me. Lion sells UK's Magic Rock and 4 Pure.
Yeah, 2 years after buying it. So Lion's been on this acquisition trail of buying smaller breweries and then buying the retail venues that go with it, right? They've had the Little Creatures tap rooms up in Southeast Asia and all that sort of thing. And now it seems that it's they're changing tack and getting rid of them. So
and they bought New Belgium as well, didn't they? During that
Belgium, yeah, that's right. And I think Magic Rock got sold to some pub group. That vertical integration happening.
Yeah. So is this there's no info on this in terms of like what kind of money was paid?
Dollars.
Yeah.
Doubt it. I think it's a private group, mate. So I don't think it's going to be because you'll find out, I suppose, if you look at the Kieran results next whenever they come out.
Yeah, they might have
public company.
That Brewbound website is pretty good for that kind of stuff, but I don't have a member. I think you have to pay to join it, but they've got some pretty good content on there.
Yeah, right. They bought Magic Rock in 2019 and 4 Pure was in 2018. I wonder if Magic Rock Stew is still brewing there.
Magic Rock are pretty, I don't really know these brands, but I
made a beer with Magic Rock when I had Brewcol. We did a beer called Salt Dick IPA.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
That was the first beer I had with Lukey at one of our co-working event days. It was that
was a Magic Rock collab.
That's cool.
Yeah, with Stu. He's a fucking legend. Funny.
Sean should do a collab and call it Future Magic Rock. Sean should buy Magic Rock. Do a collab and rename it Future Magic Rock.
Future Magic Rock.
With the crowdfunding dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
All right. So what do we take from this?
Well, I think you got to look at the other brands in the portfolio that they own and whether they would sell them next.
Yeah, which is
What
what,
do they own?
New Belgium?
Oh, New Belgium, Bells, they own, but they're big production breweries. I can't see them selling that. But Magic Rock's big as well, and so is Four Pure, but
I guess it's generally not good news for people with breweries thinking that hopefully one day they'll sell if the people that are buying are selling brands themselves.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, I'll just see if I can find out what they've got in their portfolio. Our brands, Line Co. Here we go. Am I over 18? Of course I am. Let's go. Brands. New Zealand, yes. United States, yeah. Voodoo Ranger, New Belgium, Magnolia. Oh, they've even taken off Magic Rock already.
Well, don't fuck around, mate. Big, efficient company.
Very efficient company. There's no bureaucracy there at all. Huh.
With these Brews News press release things, like media release, which is the link we've got here, is that first like couple of sentences in there, is that because it says it's written by media release. Now it's lower down, it says content published under media release. Like we think this
means that
they copy and paste
Matt's received yeah, that's
right.
it.
So but the content above, is that written by Brews News?
Yes.
The content
No, it's just a straight up copy paster, I think.
Because that warning, the byline warning thing there happens after a few paragraphs.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Just a few words on the topic.
Yeah. It's a bit
but there you go. That was they've got no more breweries in the UK now. I think they've just decided to pull out of the UK. UK beer industry must be a bit shit.
Interesting. All right. There you go.
There you go.
All right. So this article, I think, did you send me this one? You might send me this one as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Crafty Pint 2022 craft beer's strangest year yet. And I read this today and I pulled out some quotes out of there. But
what did you think? So give us the general gist of the article. So basically,
I think 2020 hit and everyone shat themselves and thought it would be awful. A year later, everyone was crushing it. And especially breweries that could get into online or had a good online presence or were doing good in package sales. 21-22 has just been really, really hard for so many different reasons. We kind of missed summer because of Omicron.
Yes.
We've had massive staff challenges. There's huge amount of competition, big acquisitions, now a huge inflation challenge. So this year is shit for a lot of breweries. And reading that article made a hell of a lot of sense to me.
It's tough out there. If you're a brewery in 2022, you were doing it tough. How are you doing this winter? Winters, so generally, the yearly cycle basically goes starting from January. It's like the first 2 weeks of January are quiet because people go away on holidays, and it's busy right up until sort of the end of May, and then it goes dead because no one drinks beer in the winter for some reason. Starts to pick up in September, gets really busy, flat out, peak production up to Christmas, start all over again. We're right in the middle of that.
The difference is for us, and I would say a lot of other breweries that were kind of similar position to us on our growth trajectory, is that in every previous year, we've had a big boost because of and it was mentioned in this article, like the whole industry was growing, right? So, each year, some other distributor or some other customer would want more craft beer. So we had some new releases too. Like last year we had East Coast Haze, which went from nothing to our best-selling beer. The year before we had Goat that went into national distribution during winter. So, and the year before that we had, our main core range going into cans and BH2 starting to hit production. So basically every winter we've had a natural amount of growth that's come through because of how fast the business is growing. So the cyclical nature of the industry we haven't felt that like we have this year. Like this year feels like winter. And it's the first time we've really had that. And I think this quote in the article where it was, I think, Nick from Warners at the Bay, if it was summer, I'd be concerned, but I'm not concerned yet, is pretty much sums up how I feel, which is like, it's not disastrous, but it feels like winter. And there's a whole lot of brewers that are really hopeful that it's going to be a good summer. And that's on the back of a lot of inflation, a lot of price increases, a lot of costs going up.
Exactly.
A lot of growth that hasn't come that you anticipated and prepared for. So yeah, we will find out come summer.
Absolutely. Well, real talk. There are some breweries that are really on the edge at the moment.
Yeah.
Particularly ones down south. We have pretty mild winters here, so people tend to still drink a little bit.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a lot of Victorian brewers over the last couple of days, and they're scared.
Dude, I went into a brewery down there, and it was like 2 p.m. on the day we came back. It was fucking freezing. Like, it was way too cold to be drinking beer. It was like an old warehouse type brewery. You know, like the beers were good, but there was no one there. It was just me and Simpo, who I was traveling with. It was ice cold. Just you can't run, and there was 3 or 4 staff there. Like you just can't run a business with no customers. That's right. And yeah, that kind of weather, it just doesn't work.
We should call on our 12 listeners to help.
How are they going to help?
Well, so it's right across the board. It's not just breweries, it's hospitality venues and all that sort of stuff. So don't care where you are in Australia or whatever, but particularly in Victoria, I reckon if you're a avid listener of this podcast and you love you love craft beer and you want to support the industry, go and get a beer. Either buy it directly from the brewery, go have a beer at the tap room, or buy some takeaways or something like that. Or go to an independent bottle shop or an independent bar. Go and buy a beer. I will start a post on the Facebook group on Friday. I'm having a beer. And let's just what's the meme from Starship Troopers? I'm doing my part. That.
Literally, I was just listening to a podcast that was talking about Starship Troopers, and then you just brought it up. That's crazy. That beer looks like it's kind of looks a bit cordial like. Is that just you need a clean glass? Is that the problem there? Or
well, you know me, my glass is always clean.
See, I thought we could use it as an opportunity as a filthy capitalist because it's so cold to get this merch thing going and start selling flanos and making money for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, but yours is a lot more altruistic. But this is a money-making opportunity. People are cold; they need flanos.
It's very Wolf of Wall Street of you, isn't it?
Those are rookie numbers, Hendo. All right.
Anyway,
well,
go.
Okay, I'll do that as well.
I'll do that as well. Go out this weekend. Go and buy some beer direct from a brewery. Or go to an independent bar or bottle shop, take a photo, take a selfie. We'll start a thread on the Facebook group. And if you're new to this podcast and you don't know our Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/Boss on the Brewer. Answer the entry question incorrectly and we will let you in.
100%. I like that. I'll do that as well. I got actually Simpo number 1 today invited me. He said, "You got your podcast tonight. How about we go on a field trip?" And I had my kids, so I couldn't. And I'm not going to do that because that's your thing.
Yes.
So maybe I'll hit him up and see if he wants to go for a beer on Friday.
I can see Dave Lavin says, surely off-prem doesn't decline as badly during winter. Yes, it does.
Yeah, that was talked about in the article.
Stop drinking beer.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it's not necessarily just a matter of it declining. It's the fact that last year was such a bumper year because, the bottle shop sales went up so much, you just get used to the new normal and you end up hiring more people and putting in different equipment and you get used to that level. And then if that doesn't sustain, it doesn't have to drop off too much for you to really feel that.
Yeah, not having a summer peak sales period because of Omicron, I think has really hurt a lot of breweries.
Savage. Yeah.
And the ones that I've spoken to are just basically, they're very they're doing it tough. So go buy some beer.
Yeah, and you can see that because a lot of these companies doing crowdfunding, they got their numbers out there. You can see them, and it's they're not particularly good. So I put this one in here. I haven't seen it as a news item, but Gage Roads had their financial year results.
Oh yeah.
This is the good thing about being a public company is they they do a report every quarter. You can read the numbers and see what they're doing. Their results are unreal. Like if you look at other brewery results for the financial year,
$1 million profit just from the Freo venue.
So what it's basically it was 1.5 and it was in basically 6 months. So the report says they could probably make $3 million annually just from that venue in profit, which is insane. They made $8.4 million profit, which is about 12%, which I think is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
19 million litres, 13 million of which is Good Drinks brands, which
Excellent.
is up 16%. So they've grown their own brands. They've launched the best tap room in WA that's printing money.
Yeah.
And they're crushing it. They're making money.
Very good.
And the share price is still exactly as it was yesterday, even maybe a bit lower.
How has it tracked over the year though?
It's the same. It's always been the same. I don't know enough about the stock market to know like how this stuff works, but they're sitting at like a $95 million valuation, which
or
market cap.
No, it's trending up. So basically it was sitting at about 90-ish cents up until February, and then it's gone dipped down to about 70 something cents, low 70s, where it's sort of sat until July.
But a year ago it was.
But this month it's trending up.
A year ago it was higher than it is now.
Oh, okay. So overall it's trending down. Yeah.
There you go. 100. So 100 million, just past $100 million value. That's basically happened live on this podcast. That was just today. Just past $100 million market cap.
78 cents.
Which is super interesting because if you think about that business, like I would love to see Stone and Wood's numbers, but I can't imagine they were that good. Like those numbers are pretty good.
It's not the highest it's been. Highest it's been was in October 2013, where it's $2.22, and now it's 78 cents.
Yeah. Yep. That might have been when all the woolly stuff was going on their own by Woolworths. They were probably selling back and buying it off back from them or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's a
Still,
P to E ratio?
That's price to earnings, but that's like they're
what does that mean?
Like every other brewery basically doesn't have any earnings. So it's like this. It's like the stock price to what their earnings are. So they earn $8 million. 26. What's 8 times? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to calculate that based on their current numbers, but it's some kind of ratio of their earnings versus the stock price.
Yeah, right.
And if because like most companies on the ASX are actually making profits.
Yeah. And
they calculate the valuation based on the profits loosely. Whereas all the valuations we talk about are calculating them based on revenue because none of them are making profit.
Yeah.
But which makes you wonder, like if Dainton are losing money and they're about the same age as Gage Road and they're doing a couple of million litres, not even, and they're valuing themselves at $33 million, but Gage Roads are printing money, making $8 million profit, doing 20 million litres, and they're only valued at 100 million. You got to start wondering whether these crowdfunding values make sense.
Yes.
I think they make sense in the market where Stone and Wood are selling for 500 million and Bolter are selling for a couple of $100 million, but they don't make a lot of sense when the only company for sale is one that's printing money that's worth 100 million that no one wants to buy.
Yeah, that's right. Weird.
But good on them. Fucking great.
It's good. Up 16% in production is amazing. I think it's good.
All right. So Gage Road also secured the sole supply contract for Optus Stadium, Dave Lavin. Yeah, so they had that. I think at the time it was.
That's been a little while though. I think
they weren't making money from it, but still, volume helps. One thing I did notice about Gage Roads is it's super at capacity. It's very efficient.
Yes,
it's an old brewery with not much room and massive tanks that must be full all the time. And I think that's the way to run a business like this.
Yeah,
that's probably why they make money. And
momentum. Yeah, momentum.
So crowdfunding. So there's 4 we've got on here. I put this liquor loot one on here because
Yes. What do
it's
they
not-
do?
Not a beer, but have you heard of whiskey loot? It's like a little samples of whiskey that you buy on subscription.
Oh, okay.
I think they might actually put the whiskey in their own little packaging bottles, which is kind of interesting. So they, partner with
What,
the whiskey firm.
repackaging whiskey?
Well, maybe they partner with the people who produce the whiskey. They send them
Like the little
1,000 bottles,
50 ml bottles, like you
Yeah.
get at the bottle shop, and they're like $10.
Yeah, and you buy
Like
them
it's
in a
the most
pack with 5
expensive.
different ones, and then you
Yeah.
have education and tasting notes, and you pay a subscription. And they sell these things. They sell a calendar to David Jones, and they sell them to Qantas and all kinds of places. So it's an interesting thing.
Are they? So they're EOI stage at the moment.
No, I think they're EOI. So 19 days. The videos, EOI. 19 days to go. They mentioned in the video they did put some numbers in there. So they said $10 million revenue in 3 years. So
Wow.
they're making money. It looks like it's worth watching that video if you're kind of into this kind of stuff, because their brand looks super legit. They've got a very big following. The product looks really good. It looks like it's pretty well executed and backed by some pretty legitimate people with a good team. So it's worth looking at.
Yeah, right.
Dainton. Have you had a look at the Dainton stuff?
No, I can't see it because I didn't do the EOI. So where's it sitting at the moment? Let's do live update.
Oh, well, I don't think you have to do the EOI. Let me have a look. When you go to virtual.com, do you have an account?
No.
Like are you logged in?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
I think if you log in and you just do.
Well, this is your cup of tea, so why don't you log in?
No, I'm here. I've got it right here, but I'm saying.
All right, what do you got?
So yeah, but you don't have to do the EOI to see these numbers. You can just go to virtual, have an account. I don't know if you have some of them you have to request access to, but anyway, not all of them. And this one is live and you can check it out. So it means if you're a brewer and you're watching this, you can watch these companies do it. You can watch their video. You can see their financials, the financials they choose to put in these documents. You can see their valuation, their P&L, the balance sheet. It's super useful. You can see how much they're raising. So that's interesting. Dainton, when I wrote, oh, Jesus, that's interesting. They're going up a lot.
So 613,492.
Yeah. So when I wrote the notes today, which was only at about midday, they were sitting at 550. So they've gone up 65K in a couple of hours.
Wow.
And so minimum target 350, maximum 1.8 million. I don't know when this actually opened, but it's 15 days to go. So they're looking pretty good.
Wow. So that puts that a $30 million valuation. No, it's more now, isn't it?
30 million pre-raise valuation.
Okay.
And that's on 7 million revenue. So which is about the same as they did last year. So that and this is, again, it's been a fucking tough year. So you wouldn't expect people to grow too much, which makes the Gage Roads results look pretty damn good. But 18K profit, which is basically break even. But this is something I found interesting because you kind of find those little tidbits in these offer documents. To date, our activities have been primarily funded by one of the company's founding shareholders, Kevin Wayne Dainton. Founding shareholders loan funds $1.4 million total to the company.
Okay. This is an interesting one. I'm just pulling up Matt Batali's Airtable thing that he sent me. Now, let's go back to Dainton 1.0.
Oh, that's right. We got access to the main hose, don't we?
Yeah. So I'm looking at Dainton.
Can you give me that link?
Yes, I can.
Link in the Zoom.
Yep. One moment, madam. Chat window.
We've got the fire hose of virtual data.
Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's go back to the old chart of accounts. Where are you? Here we go. Equity, issued capital, Kevin Dainton.
Where are you looking? Oh, this has got, man, this is.
I'm looking at the Dainton 1.0. Here we go.
So row 20 in this sheet you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, valuation
So-
$12 million.
Okay, so here we go. Right. So back in 2018, Kevin Dainton had loaned $1,061,000.
What row are you looking at here?
It's the old
What
it's-
row
it's
in the air table thing?
oh.
Or are you clicking on? Are you clicking on the link?
Yeah, you can click the brochure. If you scroll back down, it's sorted by date, by year.
The offer page? Are you clicking on it? No.
And you can click the picture of the offer document, and then you can zoom in on it and view it.
Oh shit, that's amazing! I didn't even know we could do that.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Wow. Okay.
So, anyways, there was a loan there for a little over $1 million for.
Wait, what was it again? 1 point what?
$1,061,000.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
Right. So Kevin Dainton was owed $1 million. Right now, he's owed $1.4 million. He's still tipping money into the business.
Yeah. So he's put money in and obviously hasn't been paid back or has taken money back.
So that
more
tells
money
me that the business is not only not profitable, but it's not cash flow positive either.
No, and he's not got any more equity for that. I don't think so. He's kind of just doing a favor. I mean,
it's a loan. Well, he owns most of it, so.
Well, no, but I think isn't it? It's let me have a look at this offer document. I think it was sort of 50-50, more or less 50-50. It's a fucking expensive. You'll be the first to admit this, Hendo. It's a bloody expensive game, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But the other thing is, well, a couple of things. One is, because it says so. Kevin and whoever Blue Graceland is, which I assume is Dan, is both 43% each. So he's at some point, they put in money together, and then he's put all that additional money in for I assume no extra equity,
continues to do so.
Yeah.
So Kevin Dainton's still continuing to put money in. Now, at the time in the last crowdfunding, they raised, $250,000, and that valued the business at about $1 million.
No.
What did it value the business at?
12
million.
11.7. Yeah, but let's stick with this loan thing. I want to say one more thing about that. A lot of companies of this size, like they're doing $7 million of revenue now. A lot of companies of that size will have debt. So if they've
nothing wrong with debt.
No, so if they've just chosen to get debt from Kevin at the RBA interest rate as opposed to debt from the bank, it's no different, really. Like they could have $1.4 million loan from a bank if they wanted to, and instead they've got it from Kevin. It's not a whole lot of money, really. 1.4 million in debt for a company that's doing $7 million revenue is not a huge amount.
But it's interesting though. He sort of, he just continues to put money in, and I think I think it's kind of a way to send Kevin Dainton a message that that he's the money that he is putting in is into an asset that is worth so much on the free market, and that would make me feel rather comfortable if I'd put $1.4 million into a business, knowing that business was worth 3 years ago or 4 years ago at $11 million, and now we're looking at $30 million valuation.
Yeah, but look at the revenue. Like it's actually crazy to think. Like that was when was that offer document? That was 2019, which is only just before COVID. And the revenue, I'm assuming all this data is right. Their revenue, $1.8 million. So they've gone from $1.8 million in 19 to $7 million last financial year, which is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, a lot of that would be their bar.
But did they not have the bar before? I don't know the history of the bar. No,
not really. No.
You're not doing $7 million at that bar, though, are you? I guess it's a big venue, isn't it?
But probably the key changes, anecdotally off the top of my head, that Dainton would have gone through is they were using Phoenix as a national distributor back then. And they're selling direct now, so that's
right. Yeah, and they hired a bunch of reps.
They hired a bunch of reps and all sorts of stuff, and doing their own distribution, and opening their bar.
Yeah, well, back then they've got a a loss of 150 grand. Now they're breaking even on $7 million revenue. So there's some good stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
And obviously the crowdfunding seems to be going pretty well. It feels like a high number for a valuation. I think these valuations are going to probably come down as people realize no one's paying $30 million for a business that does $7 million and breaks even.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose, at the end. What are the shares worth? $1 or something? How many shares are they offering? 1.8 million for $1? Is that right?
No,
For
I
the
don't
new
have
one?
it in front of me.
Anyway,
all
it's good. So far, so good, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems to be a good, pretty good result compared to some of the others, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 people watching, apparently.
No, again?
Yeah, that's what Connor McCormick says.
Yeah, but he's
everyone's
number 2, so he
here.
doesn't count. So it's really only
Just
11.
do roll call. Do a roll call, I think. Anyway, let's see what happens with Dainton. What's the other ones that are going on at the moment?
Right. So Future Magic, I sent this to you the other day, and you were quite excited about the progress. So $2.7 million valuation, which we knew. It was 125 when I checked earlier today. Let me check now, but I imagine it's not too. It's a slow moving beast because it's they're a brand new brand.
Do you have a link to that virtual page?
Let me find it. That's they got a lot of projects here at the moment. I'll chuck it in the show notes. So there you go, 131. What did I say? It was 125. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. Give me the link there in the chat.
I'll put it in there. I'll chuck it in on Facebook Live just because.
Yeah, because you can.
People want to have a look.
131, 213, 119 investors, 8 days to go.
Yeah. So I said to you, I didn't think they would make
minimum
based on, not that I was being a hater, but just based on it seemed to be moving really slowly. But you seemed, that link didn't work. Is that a?
Yeah, it works. It worked for me.
Work for you?
Yeah.
What if you click on that? What is going on here? If you click on no, okay. No, I think my computer just freaked out a little bit.
Yeah. It's because
you click on view investment offer. Yeah. Okay, here we go. No, we're all good. So their minimum is 200, max 800.
Yeah.
They're sitting at.
They may scrape in for the minimum, I think.
What's that?
They may scrape in for the minimum.
Yeah. Well, it's been an interesting exercise.
Oh, it's a very interesting exercise. I'm curious to see how it all turns out in the end, and I'd be curious to see what the industry's reaction is when it's all done and dusted, mate.
Yeah, and the valuation is an interesting one because no one that I can think of in our industry that started a brewery has put their valuation out publicly before they open like this. So this might become, if it doesn't go too well, if it does go too well, depending on how it goes, it might become kind of like the default. Like this is the number you use when you're starting a brewery if you've got a few things in your favor.
What's that? What's the thing that you do that now that you've taken crowdfunding and you've got to do like an annual report sort of thing?
I don't know what you mean. I do like a quarterly report and an annual report to investors, but
yes,
the quarterly one.
Apparently, you're the only brewery who's crowdfunded who does that.
The quarterly one?
Annual even.
Well, I think the obligations are to send like an annual kind of end of financial year results, but I send a quarterly, like actual detailed, this is everything that's happening in the company type thing.
You really look after your investors. It's good, man.
Well, the companies exist because their investors decide they exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one is Three Ravens, $10 million valuation.
Oh.
390K raised out of a $500 to $2 million goal. So it doesn't make it super clear.
Have you got the link to that one?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. Doesn't make it super clear when the offer was actually open, but.
Yeah. So what do we got there? Three Ravens, $10 million valuation. 300, you said 390K.
Yeah,
500 is the minimum.
Yeah, pretty aggressive minimum at 500.
114K loss. 2.5 revenue.
You're reading my notes, yeah. So,
let's see what we got here.
Facebook just for a bit.
388. So 77% of the way there with 8 days to go.
Yeah, 388. 70%, 7% of to the minimum.
Mm.
So like these are all going pretty slowly, really. Like the first few crowdfundings kind of hit their target within a couple of days.
Yes, these are much slower.
Much slower. And we've got some questions in there from the 12 about that.
Okay.
But yeah, the notes I had in there were negative balance sheet, which is not a particularly good thing.
Really?
Well, if you kind of owe more money, than assets that you have, it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Because the assets that you have, like if you got like a whole bunch of tanks, they are definitely worth something. But
the brewery's that brewery's very old, mate.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that, it's just that. Okay, so you get 100 grand worth of tanks, right? But then you've got $100,000 of invoices you need to pay.
Yes,
that's like a balance. That's balance sheet's balanced.
Yes,
but really, what's more valuable? Like what's more pressing? You're not going to sell the tanks anytime soon. It's going to be basically impossible to sell them, and those 100K of invoices need to be paid within 30 days, or you're going to start, your suppliers are going to start cutting you off. So you don't really want
exactly.
That to be
negative. Yeah. So negative
then,
balance sheet. I've never really heard of that. I probably run a company that's had that, but
well, it all has a lot to do with how much debt you have too, like, and how much money you owe. Like their balance sheet didn't look great in terms of they owed a lot of money, which is not that uncommon, to be honest. It's a tough business.
Brewery. It's a brewery.
It's a brewery. Yeah, but their revenue was down from 3 million to 2.5, which again is probably just a reflection of the year that Melbourne has had, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
But that so 2019, so their revenue, Three Ravens revenue, is at 2019 levels, and Dainton in that time have gone from 1.7 to 7 million revenue. So
they can't. Yeah, okay. I know why that would be the case, because they haven't grown the brewery. It's a tiny brewery.
Yeah,
and they're probably at max capacity. And they probably, I know they did outsource a little bit of their production, but that's very expensive and not profitable and no point doing it. So they're probably a brewery has the capability of selling more product, but can't make the product.
Yeah, but that's a lot easier than said than done, I think. It's easy to say you're capable of selling more, but it's much harder to actually sell more.
Of course, but that's why their revenue is plateaued, though. They just can't make any more than what they've got.
So what do you reckon? Is it worth $10 million? They're a very strong brand. The branding is awesome. The product.
What are they planning on doing with the money?
I think building another tap room and venue. I think so. I kind of skimmed it. I looked at the numbers more so than the plan, but I think that was the idea.
Yeah.
Interesting time.
Interesting times. Let's see what happens.
All right. Story number 5, Lion to Brew Swan Draft at Little Creatures for the first time in a long time. You would love this shit, wouldn't you, Hendo? Swan Draft. Is that your jam?
No, I was about to do that. What's his name? Eric Andre meme. See, no one cares. Oh no, it's not Eric Andre. It was someone else.
Who's Eric Andre?
I don't know.
Brilliant.
Another beer. What do you got?
Amos's mint slice.
Fuck, intellectual poopity, mate.
Whoops. We got a question about this on the questions too, so we can
There's a really good Instagram called Intellectual Poopity with 3 O's.
All right.
That's you. You're going to feature on Intellectual Poopity now.
Take this photo for Intellectual Poopity.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, don't. I'll get in trouble. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Tag Intellectual Poopity.
All right.
It's the Arnott's Mitts. You're going to get it. You're going to get a letter. You're going to get a letter.
A letter from who?
Arnott's.
No, it's Amos's. It's a staff beer. It's Amos's.
It looks like the Arnott's logo.
No, it's Amos's.
Literally called it mint slice. I bet you that's a trademark.
No, it's choc mint biscuit stout.
I'm searching that trademark. Oh, this is classic.
Oh my God.
Good?
Oh my God. Wow. All right.
Yep, it's a trademark by Arnott's Biscuits. You're fucked.
Oh God, wow.
Oh yeah, the words mint slice are trademarked. Good luck, legend.
Oh my God.
How's the
That
beer
is
though?
unbelievable. That is unbelievable. It literally just tastes like a mint slice. Fucking
You
hell.
need to call it something else other than mint slice while you're talking.
It's not called mint slice. It's called Amos's Choc Mint Biscuit Stout. Oh
No,
wow.
it's not. It says mint slice on it.
Oh, that's a description. Look, he's got a beer in his hand. See?
It's trademarked.
All right, we'll get to that topic because we do have that question later on from Smokey from Currumbin.
Oh, that's a really good CEO you're doing there, mate. Ooh.
All right. So Swan Lager. I mean Swan.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a difference between Swan Lager and Swan Draft? Same shit.
Swan Draft. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, it's Lime. What are they going to do? Make it at one of their breweries?
Great. That's good though, isn't
That's
it? Make it locally. Isn't that what we want?
Yeah. Why not? I think a lot of
and they don't make Little Creatures at Little Creatures, do they?
Of course, they make Little Creatures at Little Creatures. They got 2 Little Creatures breweries.
No, but don't they make Little Creatures at Geelong and not
as well as no, both.
Oh, they make it at both. Yeah.
Both. And they make Furphy at Geelong, and then I think they moved some of it up to Malt Shovel.
What do they make in Freo?
Only Little Creatures.
Okay.
Until now. It's a big move.
Hmm.
I think it's good. Like Rogers is good beer. So yeah.
My experience with
Matty Wolf says, I'm still amazed that Bandwagon went under the radar.
Whoops.
It's not your first. It's
no, the other thing with Bandwagon is I didn't even know you or the Big Shed guys or really Ross from Bacchus like
you know me
3 or 4 times. No, not really, not back then. And then I asked my designer to put all of these people on the can and I didn't tell any of them. And then we went to Gaps and I just gave you guys all the shirt and you were stoked.
I've got it in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You and fucking biscuit beers, mate.
I know. Well, biscuit beers everywhere. They're fucking everywhere.
Oh, classic. All
right. The Sydney Brewing wins big at 2022 Sydney Royal Awards. These guys,
of course,
these guys win every single award that's ever been awarded to any brewery.
That's all they do. They just win awards. What do they? What did they get?
I don't think Bossy's one of the 12. I'm going to message him and get him into the group.
Well, there's Richard Adamson. I had a beer with him. Actually,
yeah, Richard
on the show, don't we?
Looking important with his hat
with
there.
Tiff in the foreground there.
Yeah.
What do we get? Speakeasy Black IPA.
Wait, when you had a beer with Adamson, did you tell him that the IBA should start a podcast? Because that's what I tell him every time I see him or talk.
No, I didn't.
You got to tell him. They got to do it.
It's a good idea. Good idea. What else we got here? Wayward did well.
Wayward smashed it.
Barossa Valley Cider Company picked up their champion trophy for their squashed pear cider.
Yeah, no one won. I think it's where's the Crafty Pine article had like a list of them, and no one won like the cider award.
Well, sometimes you don't get a gold medal, and that's just how it works.
Mm.
That's good. They just make good beer, Sydney Brewery, and you know, they just be good if you could get it elsewhere, but they make what they make.
Bossy, who brews there, needs to be in the 12. I'm going to message him after the show. Tell him to get in the 12 because he can tell us he's the secret of how he wins every fucking award that's ever been offered. Where's that lager too? He even comes up to Queensland and wins all of our awards.
Yep. And Glamorama as well. That was a classic.
Unbelievable.
But that was Mike Capaldo, who was head brewer back then. They just make good beer. I think that's good.
Yeah, right. Of course. That's what we're here for.
Consistently consistent.
So Cooper's have new branding that to me looks exactly the same as their old branding, but it's got. Did you notice and you would know more about this than I do because I only dry hop.
Because I had a chat to
Dr. Tim.
Dr. Tim a few weeks ago.
Did you ask him about this? So what does this mean here where it says?
Of course I asked him about him. What did I ask him about?
The can fermented thing.
Oh. Okay.
Is that bullshit?
I thought they were doing that already.
But is can fermented different to can conditioned?
The same thing.
But it's not fermenting in the can, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is it? Isn't it just like carbonating in the can?
That's right.
But it's already fermented when it goes into the can.
Yes, but it ferments again. It's called a secondary fermentation.
Right. Okay. So this is like it's bottle conditioned, but it's in the can. Is what it is.
That's can conditioned. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which is pretty rare for.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really good though because there's some benefits for doing that. Firstly, yeast love to absorb oxygen when they ferment, so it's a really good way to just eliminate DO from the product.
Nice.
By having it can conditioned. So how that works? Would you like to know how it works?
Yes. And after that, I want to know who else does it.
Okay. So how it works is you have a beer, you ferment it in the primary fermenter, and then you'll move it into a bright beer tank. You may filter it and take out all the yeast. And then what you'll do in the bright beer tank is you'll use the existing yeast, or you'll add some new yeast and some priming sugar into the tank, and you'll mix it all up. And then you'll can the beer. And then once it's canned, it warms up and re-ferments, and you wind up with, that's how the bubbles get in it. So beer normally at the end of fermentation has around 3.5 grams per litre of CO2. That's 2 volumes in the old money. And beer in packages around 2.5 to 2.7 volumes, or 5.2 grams per litre. And so when we say a beer is flat, it's actually not flat. It's actually got quite a bit of CO2 dissolved in it already. But all you're doing is you're topping it up so that when you crack open the can, you can see bubbles coming out of solution in your glass, right? So, but what you can do is you can actually do partial can conditioning or partial conditioning.
Yeah.
So basically you might carbonate the beer up to, say, 4.5 grams per litre, then only add enough sugar to get it up to the 5.2 grams per litre.
Yeah.
And so you get the benefit of that.
Eating the oxygen.
Eating the oxygen. Exactly. That's the main thing around it. It's supposed to make a nicer, crisper bubble in the beer as well.
It also, and is it, because we do that with AWOL beers, I'm just thinking it might be, I don't exactly know the reason, but does it have anything to do with the fact that it's a bit easier to pack beer that isn't bubbling everywhere? And
yes.
Yeah, easy to get the fill
for
level
AWOL beers that go into the champagne bottles, absolutely, because it's not carbonated. You can just gravity fill them. So my first brewery that I worked at Prickly Moses, we had the old Holgate 4-head gravity filler, and we just put bottles on and put bottles off, and we'd prime the beer in the bright tank, stick the beer in a warm room for a week to 2 weeks, and it would carbonate. It's very labor intensive, but you know, it works.
I'm looking at the old can now versus the new can.
Where is the old can versus the new can?
It's basically, I'll give you a link, but I just Googled it. That's the old
family brewed, can fermented.
They actually say the same thing, and I just probably didn't notice it before.
Oh, yeah, it says can fermented at the top, family brewed at the bottom.
It says exactly the same shit, and it even has the barrel on there.
Yes.
Which I don't really know why.
So nothing's really changed.
Nothing's really changed. Australian made and owned. No additives, no preservatives has been taken. Oh no, they've flipped everything upside down.
Yeah, because they're South Australian.
Same shit. It's just on the top.
There's nothing really new there, mate.
No.
What I want to see is the label that says that you need to dilute Coopers.
Oh yeah, you want that. Interesting. Oh, well, they're switching it up. I don't know. Is it any better? Is that better? I think the old one's better. I think we need to do a poll. What's better?
What's better, the old
Coopers label? The new one is so busy and splattered with text and shit.
Well, they're just trying to be modern.
But the old one is more modern because it's cleaner. Modern is clean. That's a big can though. That's a 440 ml can. That might be being a bit unfair. unfair comparison.
Do you like Coopers?
The beer, the beer.
Beer.
I have an affinity with Coopers because I used to live directly opposite the Storybridge Hotel and drink Coopers Sparkling regularly, and it made me very happy.
Cooper Sparkling is awesome.
Yeah, and I got the Coopers homebrew kits, and I respect them as a business and a brand, and I think they've done really well. But I never ever drink their beer.
I'm having a Jack Daniels.
Jesus Christ! Have that if you're gonna have that, you might as well have send the 20% bloody.
No, this is 6.9%.
Yeah, but how many standards?
It's double Jack Daniels, and no sugar cola.
For a beer podcast, this is not beer advice. Fucking hell. All right. This is okay. The final news story before we get into the questions. Matt, wait, who's the boss and who's the brewer? I'm the brewer because I've always got my flano on, except this
flano on. Yeah.
This is a malt flano, not a dry hop flano.
That should have been so obvious. I don't understand how people would confuse that.
Dave Lavin, Little Creatures, that brew all the on-prem in Freo. Oh, there you go. Well, I had one in Freo and fucking
in all the kegs.
Made me angry. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, last story. This is an interesting one. The only reason I thought this was interesting is because I saw it on Beer and Brewer. Lager Focus Parenti Brewing announces $6 million brew pub. And then the photo on there is Brennan Fielding from Burley Brewing.
Oh, yeah, right.
And if you read it, it's the guy...
And the sausage... Oh, no, it's a tank on its stillage. I thought it was a sausage tank.
Kenton Campbell, who's the guy who started Zarafas, is building a massive brew pub as part of his Distillery Road kind of market or something project in Eagleby, I guess, wherever that is, somewhere in...
That's near Beenleigh.
Near Beenleigh, there you go. Oh, yes.
Where is this?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when you go in there, they've got like a Burley Brewing sign in there. There's like a whole little development going on in there.
In Eagleby? Next to where the Beenleigh Rum Distillery is?
Yes. Yeah, right there. It's like a whole little market situation in there.
Well...
but what is this Parenti Brewing thing? It's all lager-focused brewery by a coffee company owner in collaboration with another brewery without using their brand. What's going on here?
Oh, it looks like Brennan Fielding is doing a bit of a consulting gig.
No. It's more than consulting. It's Burley Brewing's expertise, market leaders. The Burley Brewing Parenti partnership is a unique evolution of the strong relationship Peter and I have built with Kenton.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting the long-planned brewery up and running. I'm stoked that Burley Brewing will play an ongoing part in Parenti putting a fresh, top-quality lager range. I can't really think of a better person to brew lager than Brennan Fielding.
But no, he's great.
I'm pretty sure his middle name is Reinhard Skabot.
It is, but that's not the point I'm making.
Brennan Reinhard Skabot Fielding.
Why is this not? But this is an unusual. It's a different situation, is it? Where it's a completely new brand. Burley Brewing aren't mentioned, but he's in the photo. This is unusual. Is it not unusual?
Oh, yeah. But I think that might be just the name of the venue rather than the brand. Or what? I don't know. I think it's an interesting collaboration. And
do you think it's a collaboration, or do you think Burley Brewing have brand they're currently, when you go in there, they've got like a branded bar, or they're on the floor plan anyway? Because I've seen floor plans for this whole thing.
Burley does, or
Burley, yeah.
In the distillery district.
Yeah.
And now they're building a brewery, and it's going to get a name.
It's going to be called Parenti Brewing.
I'd go check it out. I don't mind a lager.
You like lager?
Occasionally.
So, okay. I thought it was interesting. So it's not like propping up a competitor. It's a collaboration, but your brand isn't being used.
What are they going to do? All right. So here you are in Beenleigh, right? You're building a brewery. Are you going to call a brewery in Beenleigh Burley Brewing and put that brand on it?
Plenty of people have done it.
But there's probably a discussion that they had, and because one of the things that Brennan and Peter are big about is being hyper local, right? And I don't think you could take Burley Brewing and then kind of wrap the hyper local message in a brewery that is in Beenleigh.
Yeah.
So I get it. Makes sense to me.
So you think it's like, so what do you think the relationship is? Do you think it's like a 50-50?
Oh, it's probably a joint venture.
Collab type situation?
Some sort of joint venture, I would imagine.
How do you think a lager focused brew pub will go in Beenleigh? I'm not passing judgment. I have no idea. It might go really well. I have no idea. It might go really bad. It's fucking
Beenleigh. Of course, a lager brewery is going to do well.
It'll be expensive lager though. This is craft locally made lager.
Okay, let's flip it around the other way, right? How good would Range Brewing do if they opened up in Beenleigh?
I don't know. I went to Range in Melbourne. Their spot down there is interesting. Have you been in there?
No, I haven't been to the
very different to the Brisbane one.
Yeah, but how would like a hazy brewery go setting up?
I have no idea. I grew up in Logan, but it's been a while since I went there.
I think it's a great idea. It suits the market. I think it's awesome. What a great idea. It's a lager-focused brewery in Beenleigh. So styles of beer that's going to appeal to the locals. Yeah. It's got a hyper-local name.
What is that relevant? Parenti Brewing. What does that mean? Like, why is that a local name? What does Parenti mean?
I don't know.
Parenti's like a lizard.
Yeah, look, it's a lizard.
It's a goanna.
It doesn't even have a distribution in Beenleigh.
It's not that local, is it? But it's one of the largest living lizards on Earth after the Komodo dragon.
It's in Western Australia, all the way through the middle part of Northern Territory, and then round up to Mount Isa and Longreach.
Not hyper local, then, is it?
It's not in Beenleigh. It's not a Beenleigh lizard.
And also, as someone who grew up in Logan, it feels like you're hating on people from that South Brisbane region when you're making these comments about Beenleigh. Am I reading too much into that? I'm a little bit offended. You know Savage Gardener from Logan, right?
Yes, I know Savage Gardener from Logan. So are the Veronicas.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So stop this shit.
Look, okay, a lot of working class people live in Beenleigh, and I don't see them being big on hazy IPA and all that sort of stuff, or even pale ale. That they would definitely be one of those that, those sorts of people who go, I don't want any of that fruity stuff.
I think you're really you're passing a lot of judgment about people from Beenleigh here, Hendo, and I'm not happy about it. Okay.
Rightio.
I don't know.
I'll pick up the phone to fucking Matt from Range and say, hey, can we do the next Juicy Festival in Beenleigh?
Yes. Do it at Parentile Brewing Co.
And get the train down there. It'd be fucking sick.
Oh, God. All right. Let's get to these questions.
Oh, double Jack Daniels. I love you.
I can't believe you drink. I would love to have a Jack Daniels right now. I haven't had one for fucking 20 years. For good reason, but I probably have one. All right. Now, we have some great questions. I was thinking, when I posted this thread, I was thinking we should stop doing these weekly questions because they're all bullshit and no one asks any good ones. But this week, we had an abundance of great questions.
I'm not looking at the questions, so hit me and I will do my best to answer them.
All right. So Luke Cooper was first on the questions.
Do you reckon changing your middle name to Reinhardt Skabot is a good idea?
I mean, if you think lots of things are good ideas that I don't, and vice versa. So, sure.
Oh, I haven't given you a scooter update either. Before we do questions, can I give you a scooter update?
Why don't you not change your name to Reinhardt Skabot and just say you did?
I am not changing my middle name to Reinhardt Skabot. My late father would fucking roll in his grave because I have his middle name. That's my middle name. What about a second middle name?
Oh, yeah, like Kate Miller Heidke. Wait, Kate Miller. No,
that's a hyphenated surname. It's not the same as having Prince Charles. He's got like 7 middle names and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, you could do that. Or you could just do a hyphenated Reinhardt Skabot
Henderson.
Ryan Husker Henderson.
No. We don't need to hype. It's just Ryan Heitzgebot Henderson.
Okay. All right. I'm going to
Anyway,
get to these
scooter
questions.
update. I need to give you a scooter update.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I've done something really
The
stupid.
other than stealing some old dead guy's scooter.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah. Okay. So what I've done now is I was browsing Facebook Marketplace, right? As you do. And I was looking at Honda Today. The scooters are Honda Today. And so
That's
there
what
was
it's called,
this
a
guy,
Honda Today.
That's the name of the thing. Yeah.
A Honda Today.
Today. When my scooter is done, it's going to have a really big. I'm gonna put a wrap on it with on the front with a big picture of Billy Corgan just going with a microphone just going
Wait, I'm going to get a photo of you doing that. Can you just please do that again?
No, I can't
do that again.
Because it looks like I'm doing something else.
It sure does, and that's why I'm going to get a photo of it.
Fuck off. And so, anyways, so basically, this guy on Facebook Marketplace he's selling a Honda Today.
Is it going to still be for sale tomorrow? Fucking worst name ever.
No, I've bought it. I'm picking it up. I'm picking this up on Sunday.
No, you just said he's selling a Honda today, and I was wondering if it's going to be for sale tomorrow.
What he's done. Okay, so he's selling a Honda Today scooter.
He's selling a Honda today.
Today, and I'm picking it up on Sunday, right? And so what he's done is he's figured out that you can just swap the engine out with a different model of scooter. It's still a Honda lead engine, and it's 100. It's like the Honda Today is 50cc, so it's just tiny little engine. So what he's done is he's swapped out the engine for a Honda lead engine, which is a 100cc engine. He's upgraded it to 125cc with a big bore kit.
Nice.
And then he's plonked a fucking turbo on it.
Ooh, tasty.
And I bought the engine.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I bought the engine.
Did you actually?
$400. Yeah, I'll pick it up on Sunday.
What the hell? So you're going to do an engine swap?
Yeah, going to do an engine swap on it.
Is this thing going to haul ass?
I actually didn't buy the turbo because I'd swapped the engine because I was going to put a big bore kit on the one I've got downstairs anyways, but it would only take it to like 80 cc's. But now it's going from 50 cc. Instead of going from 50 to 80, it's going from 50 to 125 cc. The thing's going to fucking haul ass.
Why would you not buy the turbo's part of the deal? Like, he's just going to leave the turbo there.
Oh, it's a bit above my pay grade.
But it'll be all connected and everything, wouldn't it? Like
No. He's bought the turbo.
Oh, okay. He hasn't put it,
and he's got the exhaust, but he hasn't welded it up and all that sort of thing. Yeah, right. So it was a bit of a project. He didn't finish the project, but I said I'll buy the engine. So basically, he was selling the Honda Today scooter and the engine and the turbo and the exhaust and everything goes with it. And I just said, how about, I was looking at buying both. And that way I would have gotten a frame with the non-stolen VIN. And,
wow.
Did I say stolen? I meant acquired. And so I said to him, can I just buy the engine? I don't want the turbo. I don't know how to do turbos and that sort of thing. It's carbureted engine. I've got no idea. You need fuel injection and that sort of thing. But an engine swap I can do on this thing.
It's the same block, right? It'll bolt off and bolt in.
It's the same. So a scooter engine is basically the engine, the piston, everything, and then the CVT, transmission, and the back wheel is considered the engine in a scooter. And so I've got this 125cc engine now that I'm going to pick up on Sunday. So I'm going to engine swap it.
So what kind of 0 to 100 would it have done with the 50?
Wouldn't have done it at all. So top speed of a stock standard Honda Today is 47 k's an hour.
Oh my God, that's fucking dangerous.
Exactly. Because if you're on a busy road.
Well, what 0 to 47? What kind of numbers are you looking at for that?
Oh, about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. And what about the 125? What are you looking at?
I don't know yet.
Well, what's top speed?
It should get, my objective for this scooter is to get it to 80 k's an hour.
80k would be okay. You could live with that.
Anything, I can't take it on the motorway. I'll never be
No.
able to take it on the motorway. I don't want to take it on the motorway because it's just too small.
Yeah.
There's trucks and that sort of thing. But if I can get it to do 80, I can do like the main roads, dual carriageways and all that sort of stuff. And ride to work and go to the shops and all that sort of thing. But I do want it to haul a little bit of arse.
A little bit, yeah. You could smoke.
So,
you got to smoke someone in a car.
Well, I want it to be a bit of a sleeper, to be fair.
Yeah, I think you need that turbo.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, you get a turbo. You got to do some welding.
You do,
yeah. And then I'd have to rig an oil pump on it to pump oil through the turbo. That's way above my pay grade. Way above. I'm just going to do the engine swap and probably put a bigger carb on it. So the original plan was to get they call it 100cc big bore kit, but 80. It's 80. It's 50 millimeter piston in it, and so just swap that out with a 20 mil carb. But I'm pretty sure now I could get this 125cc big bore kit and 24 mil carb. That should.
Where do you get the carb from?
Amazon.
How do you just buy it new?
Yeah, they're like $30.
No,
they're so cheap.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Amazon or eBay or something like that. It just bolts on.
Amazing.
So all these scooter engines, most of all the Chinese scooters and stuff, they're on a platform called GY6. It's the GY6 platform, and so all the Chinese companies are all making all these knockoff parts. But the platform was invented by Honda.
So, what's your total? What's the total amount of money you've put in so far?
Nothing.
Just the $400.
Oh, $70 for the new set of keys.
Okay, so $470 you're sitting at.
No, I see $470 as of Sunday.
$470. Yes. And then you got to get the carb for say $500.
$500.
You have to do. What about brakes and shit like that? Like, is there other?
That's the thing that I've been really thinking about with this, right? So, the Honda lead and the rear wheel has a bigger brake drum because the thing goes faster.
What do you mean Honda lead?
That's the donor engine, where the engine comes from. Is the model is a Honda lead versus the Honda Today.
Yes, bigger engine need bigger brakes.
Bigger brakes, exactly. But the Honda Today doesn't have that. So suddenly I've got a 80, 90k an hour scooter with tiny little drum brake like that.
Yeah.
And so I had to look at the Honda lead drum brakes, and it's much bigger. But if I wanted to get those brakes on that scooter, I'd have to change the forks out and everything like that, which I may do.
How much is he selling the frame for?
He's doing the engine and the scooter, the pink scooter, for $1,000. He's asking.
And it's running. It would be running and functional with brakes and everything if the engine.
Yeah, but it's just another Honda Today, and I don't need another Honda Today. I just need the big engine.
Oh, I thought you said it was a Honda lead.
Mm.
Oh, he just got it today.
It's a Today scooter with a lead engine.
Oh, I see. Okay. You don't want that. So what are you going to do about the brakes?
Nothing.
Just see how it goes.
I stop.
I mean, if you're only going to, you're probably only going to go 50, 60K, really. You're not going to be smashing 80K.
No, fuck no. But you just want the pickup. No.
Yeah.
So I think it should be fine.
Right.
And if I'm not happy with it, then I'll change the front end out and put the big drum brake. Stop. Well, I've seen on the internet one guy who had a Honda Today that he had doing over 100 k's an hour, and he said the drum brake is fine.
Oh no,
and it's only when you're going down hills and stuff like that where the brakes start to fade.
Wait, did you say the brake is fine or the brake is frying?
No, fine.
Oh,
until he said he took it over a mountain as he's like Mount Glorious, and as he's going down Mount Glorious, constantly the brakes they start fading.
I mean, you don't take a fucking scooter down Mount Glorious though. Jesus Christ. So Daniel Pinto says new podcast on the make, the F1er and the mopeder. That's good. All right.
Anyway, I haven't posted any photos of the scooter yet.
So yeah, no, I was going to say post an update.
And so anyway, here's the 12 questions.
All right, 12 questions. Luke Cooper gave it a shitload of questions, so we'll try and get through them all. Question number one, and he says, he makes the effort to put question, colon, and then he asks the question, which is very
That's
thoughtful.
etiquette. That's good
It's
etiquette.
Because he does that with the questions, and then sometimes he says statement, colon, so he's not asking a question, he's just making a statement.
Sure.
I like that. See, some people would just write the words and put a question mark, and then write the words and put a full stop or an exclamation point, but he flags ahead of time what's coming, which I like. It's thoughtful.
I'm down with that.
How do you protect IP? I'll just hold this here while I read this question, okay?
Go.
How do you protect IP when brewers leave to work for others? NDAs. Oh, I think he's talking about recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, not you ripping off mint slice.
No. Okay. Don't ask me about protecting IP.
Yeah. This is not intellectual property advice.
This is not. None of the advice in this podcast is financial or intellectual property advice.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that Coop's talking about recipes.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like it. You're not going to steal someone's brand, really, but
no, you can't really do that. Recipes, no, there's nothing really stopping you. But if you're a brewer, for example, and you have a recipe that you had at one brewery and you move to another brewery and you release the same beer that's identical to under a different brand, it doesn't make you look particularly skillful, you know? And
I think people, but don't you think people read a little bit too much into recipes? Like,
yeah, exactly. Recipes are here and there. I've seen them all.
Yeah, seen them all, and like our recipes have been public since the day we started. It's not, and
it just doesn't really happen. I just don't see a brewer. Any brewer wants to show off their skills, not copy their own work from one employer to the next.
Yeah.
So whilst it is possible for it, and there's really nothing stopping a brewer from pinching a recipe from one brewery and taking it to the next, doesn't make you look particularly good, you know?
Yeah, it is actually a good question, though. I feel like
because
otherwise,
otherwise what would happen, right, is all of the amazing people who used to work, for example, at Stone and Wood, who've now gone and start their own breweries, would all do a Pacifica. That's exactly
but that's what happened.
Pacifica,
like
but
Bolton, thought he left Stone and Wood and did a 5% beefed up.
It's completely different beer. Exactly.
I mean, that's what people do. They'll use their lessons, change a few hops out, do something a little bit different. They think the market wants, and if it goes well, it goes well. But I was going to say, I can't answer this question. I don't know if you can either, because it would need to be IP advice. Is, can you actually protect recipes as a, like kind of a trademark of sorts? Can you force them, if they did do that, could you force them to stop making the beer or stop selling the beer or prove that they're using the same recipe or something like that? Probably not.
Not really.
Yeah.
Just be a dick if you did it, though.
Yeah. But it's probably one of those things that when you're not in the industry or you're not close to it, it's the thing you think about that is the most important thing. But when you are in it, you realize it's not really the recipe a lot of the times that kind of
any brewer who leaves a brewery to go to another brewery would want to improve on what they did in the past. So they would come up with a better recipe or a better process or something like that.
They have their own ideas about
exactly where the beer would go. It's not just, I get it. I get where the question's coming from, but there's so many reasons why it wouldn't happen though. Yeah.
No, I remember thinking the same thing. I remember when we first worked with you and just before we were really even making beer, I think, and I think you showed me the recipe for Hop Zone. And I was like, holy shit, like that's the recipe for Hop Zone. It's like one of my favorite fucking beers.
Yeah.
So you just show me this recipe. Like,
yeah.
I lost my shit. I mean, I can't even read a recipe for beer, so it's no use to me at all. But you think it's a very, very big deal when you're not.
It's not a big deal.
In it.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Recipes are just like what raw materials you're putting into it. It's maybe 20-30% of the beer, what the beer is,
Yeah.
And And so, you know, I used to work at a contract, you know, be a head brewer of a contract brewery. You know, and I have some people approach me for recipe development work and they get all really cagey and that sort of thing. And I have to sort of pull them aside and say, listen, all right, I go to the pub and I can look at the fridge behind the bar and I see all the different beers and I know that I've seen all the recipes for that. When I hide something from me, you're not really hiding anything from me. You know, I've seen the recipe. Big deal. All right. But if you want me to help you, then you can't have any secrets. You want me to sign an NDA? Sign your fucking NDA. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
But you can't really enforce the NDA, can you? So it's not a lot of point.
I just if it makes a client feel warm and fuzzy, fine. But it's part of what I do. If I write a beer recipe for a client, it's in my interest to make sure that it's unique and that the client's getting something new and novel and isn't like anything else. It would not reflect well on me at all if I wrote the same beer recipe for lots of different clients.
Yeah. I wonder if people would ask for that. Like these days, I think probably not, but I wonder in the early days if that was going on a bit, you know, like you see a beer taking off a Stone and Wood or, you know, Pacific Ale or whatever. I wonder if
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, probably.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But I don't know what it's like now.
Yeah. All right. Question. See my decal post. Did we get a response? And you notice what I said then? I said decal post. Didn't I?
I would, yes. And I would also say I also saw the decal post. So we are in agreement here, Dan.
Oh, really?
Oh, you went like you were talking, but then nothing came out of your mouth. Were you talking to somebody else?
Shit, sorry. Okay, decals.
Decals.
What's your reason for calling it a decal?
Because everyone in the industry calls it a decal.
Oh, okay. That's a good reason.
Do you know when you call it decals?
What's the question?
Do you know when the occasion is that you would call it a decal?
I never would.
There is.
Okay.
Okay. Did you ever put together model planes or cars and shit when you were a kid?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Those
sick.
stickers were decals.
Oh, decals. Yeah. On cars. Yeah, you're right. They were. Decals.
However, a beer
decal on a car is a decal.
It is exactly. It's a decal
on
a car or a model plane, but on a beer tap, it's a decal.
Interesting. See, I call it a decal because before I was in the game, I was new. I didn't know anything about it. And I just assumed it was called that. And now it makes people upset that I call it a decal. So I continue to call it a decal.
Who's upset?
Well, there's people in the group who are like, no, it's a decal.
I know. I could see there was a few there.
Well, that's enough reason to call it a decal, isn't it? That's my reason.
I think it'd be fine.
Third question, when will the Boston Brewer Dixon Flanos be ready? Keen for one. I haven't progressed that, but it's a good idea.
Have you reached out to them?
I sure fucking haven't.
Good on you.
I think they're an established brand. We've got 12 listeners. We need to up our game.
Okay.
We need to up our game. I think we need a better logo. We need a sponsor.
A better logo?
Spend money to get a better logo. We need to put some effort into the branding before we start doing collabs with Dixon Flanos. Right.
All right.
Still, Luke, I've heard YouTube pays $3 for every 1,000 plays. Are you there yet? That's got to be bullshit.
Oh, we've probably made not even $3.
We've made $0, and that's definitely not right.
You can't make money from YouTube until you have 1,000 subscribers.
Okay. How many have we got?
No, there's three things. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time.
Oh my God. 4,000?
4,000 hours of watch time.
Right. Before you go on, I'm going to figure out what ours are right now.
Go to the stats, mate. Pull up the stats. And what's the other thing? 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. There's one other thing you got to have as well before you can get YouTube ad money.
Well, you Google YouTube stats and there's like 10 links to things that are not YouTube.
Go to the YouTube studio where you post the videos, and it'll give you the analytics.
No, that's fine, but it seems weird that Google wouldn't be on top of that.
Because it's not stats, it's analytics.
I Googled YouTube analytics, got the same result. All right, 79 subscribers.
Excellent.
Watch
so
time.
We're nearly a tenth of the way there.
Watch time. How many say we need?
4,000.
Brilliant. We got a 4 in front of it. 4,000 what?
4,000 watch hours.
Hours.
Yes.
Okay.
What do we got?
41.
Okay, we're 100th of the way there.
Fucking hell. Oh, no, sorry, wait. That's the last 28 days.
Oh, do all time.
All time.
Oh, then you went
okay,
quiet
400,
again.
10th of the way there.
All right, sick. So we got a 10th of the subscribers.
Yep.
Not quite. We got a 10th of the watch hours. There's one other thing you got to do.
Views 1,004. Like, no one's watching these videos, are they? Let's be honest. Oh, what's that? May 18, 130 views. That's pretty solid. Oh, so that's why we put metric on in the keyword. That's probably why. Average duration.
That's what you need to do. Game it. Play the game.
Just spam it with keywords.
Keywords.
Oh, that sucks, doesn't it? Okay. All right. Well,
we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Have we done a poll on flannel colors and their roles yet? I'm
no,
keen to do that. We haven't done that, have we?
How are we going to do this? Because I suppose we need a list of colors, and then we need to ask individually which job the color is for as individual polls.
Well, why don't we just do one poll a week for 12 days?
Yep.
And we have 12 different colors of flannel, and we say, what is this flannel for? And we put all the different brewing roles.
Perfect.
And then it's possible it doesn't have to be a brewing role. It could be an ancillary role to the beer making process. You could have an office flannel.
Absolutely.
All right. So who's going to do that? I'm fucking busy. You're busy. No one's going to do that.
I can do it.
You going to do that?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start by choosing the 12 colors? So I reckon the dry hop's got to be the red. I mean, obviously that goes without saying.
Course.
This has got to be something to do with malt. So probably just milling.
Which one's that one?
Just the blue.
Is that blue?
Blue Gladfield.
Black and blue?
This is not Gladfield. This is my wood chopping flannel, but the blue Gladfield has got to be the
Okay, so there's always two colors in a flannel. So red and white is
black and blue.
Dry hopping.
Yeah.
Or red, black, white is dry hopping.
Well, the Gladfield one might be blue and it's blue and black, I think.
No, it's red.
No, I mean the blue one. There's a blue Gladfield one.
It's blue and black.
Yeah, blue and black. Yeah. So same as this, but this isn't actually a Gladfield one.
Okay.
That could be milling, maybe, because it's got to have something to do with malt, right?
Okay, so we've got red, black, white, and that's dry hopping. And then we've got blue and black as another color. What's the other colors?
Well, that Dixon website had, remember we went through it the other week. It's got hundreds
There was yellow and
colors.
black.
There was green. There was all kinds of shit on there. The green one's solid.
Green and black. Fuck, man. I'm getting spammed with fucking Dixon bloody
getting
Facebook
retargeted
ads anyways. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't care. Let's have a look here. Dixon.
Can I screen share? Is that what happens if I screen share here?
Yeah, you can screen share.
I don't think I can screen share.
That's the green button at the bottom.
Share screen. Wow, you can go on.
There's grey. There's grey and black.
Oh, grey is solid. I like that. Google Chrome unknown. Interesting. What kind of shit am I
grey and black
now?
There's purple and black.
Dixon quality. How good. How do I know what Chrome I'm going to be fucking sharing here?
Just not your porn one.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about. Whiteboard.
Flannels. Here I am. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, there's a weird one. It's grey and mostly grey.
Okay.
Bamboo.
How about this, Hendo? We short. Oh, that grey. Oh, that's like a sideways check going. Oh, that's like hippie. Yeah, they got some good shit on here.
What about pink, blue, and black? There's a pink, blue, and black one.
Well, okay. Why don't we choose? We can't do this live on the podcast. This is just terrible content.
We just need a list, and we'll make a list. And
why don't you make a list of, say, 20 options?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Or 15 options.
Okay.
And then we'll do a thing in the group. Pick the 12 or whatever, or rule out 6 of them or something.
Sure.
So we come up with the 12 colors, and then we have the 12, and then we do the 12 days of what associates with which task.
Okay.
All right, that's your homework.
Okay.
Now we'll have to think of something for my homework, but I did a fair bit of homework today on the research for the episode.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So many more questions.
Shit.
Right. Question number 6 from Luke Cooper. Is 6 enough questions for today? It is a multiple of 12.
Yes.
Okay. It's not a multiple of 12, though.
No, it's not a multiple of 12.
No. Okay. All right. Right. Damien Rigby.
It's a multiple of 6, though, and a multiple of 1. Maybe a multiple of 3.
Yeah.
And 2.
It's divisible. It's half.
It's not a prime number.
No.
This is not prime number advice.
It's not. Yeah. Right. Damien Rigby. Wait, is this the guy that rocked up to your house and assaulted you? Or no? Different.
No, that was
fella.
another Damien.
Okay.
What does he say?
Will questions only get answered if they have question : in front of them?
Yes.
And he said question : before he put the question in there, by the way.
That went meta really quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, the answer is yes.
But also that had a question mark at the end of it, and his next question said question : Godzinski update with no question mark.
Ah, well, that's a question for you.
Yes. No, well, okay. It's been in tank for, I think, 12 days? Maybe?
Yes. That's good.
Hey?
Good.
I did. Right.
Rightio.
I did send you a message during the week and apologize for my. It was a group. It was a bit of a group fail.
Okay.
I take responsibility for my.
So when's it coming out of the tank?
I don't know the answer to that yet. That'll depend on when the pack line's available, but
I do.
Okay. Will you tell me?
I know more about what's going on in your brewery than you do.
Okay.
That's fucked up.
Well, I'm on holidays.
Are you on holidays?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I've got like 15 weeks leave owing to me, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take some of it.
Fair enough. Are you going on holidays?
No, I've been away a couple of times. I've been away like for kind of weekend trips and whatnot, but yeah.
What are you doing? Just hang around the house?
Pretty much. Yeah. I've been kind of getting organized for moving and looking up furniture, looking at the kids more. Been to Melbourne a couple of times and weekend trips and a bit of meat smoking.
How long have you got off?
About 3 weeks.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I am going to go on a proper holiday at some point, but it just not right now. And I have way too much leave, and I just can't kind of be the guy with shitloads of leave when I'm asking everyone else to take leave.
All right, so it's come to my attention that the Grodzitsky is getting tentatively canned on the 18th of August.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
That's 8 days' time. That's next Thursday.
Nice.
Would you want to maybe go in and can this beer, or?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
I'm going to put it in my calendar. It's going to be fucking sick.
We're going to try and do something, aren't we? Well, we better not announce that until we can actually confirm it's happening. But
yes. So I'll put in my calendar tentative Grodzisky canning. Right, it's in my calendar.
Yeah.
I won't be able to get down there till like 10 o'clock in the morning because I've got a client call in the morning. But yeah.
All right,
not?
that sounds good. And I do have to apologize for my part in the fucking up of us not being there on brew day. And I messaged you during the week about that. It was a bit of a
For a guy who's the CEO
errors.
of a brewing company, you know very little about the actual brewing that's going on.
Yes, that's abundantly clear.
So if you could actually go and maybe confirm that canning date.
Well, it sounds like you can do that. The less work I have to do, the better, Hendo. I'm busy doing other shit. So
I'm not here to run your fucking brewery for you.
You tell me what's happening.
I'm just the guy who drinks Jack Daniels.
Oh my God. All right. Statement, live streams are good. That's cool.
Absolutely there.
Oh, Tom Northwood says I've got the 18th off. That's a plus. Oh,
Tom's
Darren
got the
Gittins,
18th off.
Pink and blue gender reveal burnout flannel, popular with the lager drinkers in Beanley. So everyone's having a go at these South Brisbane. I grew up in Logan and I never did a gender reveal doing I did a lot of burnouts though. A lot of burnouts.
What kind of car?
Oh, I had lots of Celikas, so you'd have to lift the guard. You have to get the boys out the back and lift the guard up to help it do a burnout.
Front wheel drive Celica or rear wheel drive Celica?
Oh, rear wheel drive, early 70s. Yeah, but my stepbrother had a 1 ton Holden, like a HT or something.
Yeah, tonner.
That thing, the tonner lit it up like it was fucking no tomorrow's no problem.
Because they have no weight in the back. Yeah.
Yep. 308, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Good times. The scooter you probably light it up with the scooter. Couldn't you just take your feet off and front brake?
Probably pour a bit of oil on the road and then just light it up on there and that sort of thing. Maybe not with the front brake though.
Yeah, front brake on for sure.
Yeah, but it's not a big front brake though. Might not be enough for all the power at the back to do a burnout.
You got the weight off there. You got zero weight. Surely, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it live on a BatB episode.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Live streams are good. Thank you.
We'll confirm the date for the Grodzitsky canning, and we'll let you know in the Facebook group. And if you want to rock up and have Grodzitsky, come and have a Grodzitsky.
All right. Question, Damien Rigby, who did not assault you at any point. Question, which is nice. Is anything happening with the Queensland craft brewing strategy, or has the state government think they've done enough? I haven't seen much around priority 3, particularly in relation to local government planning schemes. Fucking hell, don't get me started on that.
Yes. The Queensland craft or an update on the Queensland craft brewing strategy was actually in estimates last week, estimates committee.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Particularly around the education part. And
yes, okay, yeah.
So there was a question from the opposition about the education part of the Queensland craft brewing strategy.
Who was opposing? Is anyone actually opposing any part of that, or it's just kind of back and
no? It was just it was an estimates question. So basically, they have to ask the question: we've spent this money on a TAFE course. What has it delivered?
Okay.
And basically, we've put 50 odd students through. We keep track of them who get jobs, so we're creating jobs. That was it. We're just all the stats. And
the next update is we've kind of loosely talked about it, I feel like, on here, but we haven't really.
The Queensland Craft Brewing Strategy 2.0.
No, well, the part of the education component of it. But
what about it?
Well, is it something that we've announced, or?
What do you mean?
Well, the advancement in the education for brewers.
What advancement?
The change in the way the training is happening. I think we've kind of talked about it vaguely, but I can't remember if we've actually kind of.
Oh, as in doing your assessments in your workplace.
Like the apprenticeship stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's not official yet.
Well, if that was my fucking question, Henry, how can I ask this in any other less subtle way?
It's a work in progress.
This is
no. It's a work in progress.
This is not apprenticeship.
There's nothing
advice.
official yet.
Okay, but whatever was going through Parliament, does this relate to the increased education?
Oh, that's not a thing that needs to go through
Right.
Parliament per se. But it is something that's being worked on because, you know, if you think about it, the industry needs it because, you know, you've got crew and you guys have been amazing sending people to TAFE to do the part-time course, you know, Mondays at the Brew Lab, Wednesday evenings doing class and that sort of thing. And for a lot of breweries, that's great, but they can't spare someone on a Monday. So they would prefer to do their assessments in the workplace. And that's something that's been worked on.
Okay. Very coy about all these little subjects here, Henry.
Well, I can't steal the government's thunder. Fuck, I'd get in so much trouble.
All right, local government planning schemes, fucking no comment. How's a JD going down for you, mate? See, how can you give me shit for doing burnouts in Beanley when you're sitting there drinking Jack Daniels? Like,
I'm not just drinking Jack. I'm drinking double Jack with no sugar cola, and it's 2 standos.
Well, I mean, you should be doing burnouts in Beanley with that kind of beverage choice.
Well, I own a Commodore. Maybe I can.
Oh, true. That'll do it. What's it got? 3.8?
Yeah,
Ecotech?
nah.
That'll do it for sure.
Nah.
Auto?
Yeah.
Brake and accelerator, mate. It'll do it.
Nah, transmission's fucked. It wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Do you know how many Ks my Commodore's done?
360,000.
392.
Oh, that's pretty close, really.
And I think it's got another good 100 in it.
Yeah. You know,
I've had the car 10 years now. 10 years.
If this is still the same, the car for the record amount of original kilometers, I'm going to Google it right now.
Rightio. Scotty Angel wants to do his certification in the workplace. I say yes.
Yeah, 100%. So this is it's a bit of an older article.
Rightio.
This guy had a car that did, is a high school teacher, did 5 million, was it 5? What was it? 800,000 kilometers in the first 10 years. 5 million kilometers. This is back in 2016, and it was a world record.
What sort of car?
5 million kilometers for a car. You want to guess the car?
Is he Australian?
No.
American?
I'll give you a hint. I own a car that is the same color and the same car.
Oh, the Volvo P76.
P1800. Yep.
Really?
Yep. 5 million kilometers.
Huh. Is that why you bought it?
She goes, mate. She just keeps going.
That's amazing.
Angus Grant's trying to change the date on
that's
the
a nice, they're
date.
a nice car. Have you been driving that car or what?
I haven't, because it crossed my mind the other day that Simpo reminded me that he got a 1-year reminder that a year ago was the last time that he and I went for a drive together, and he's got the Fiends Mercedes.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I'd love to go for a ride in that car of yours, eh?
I haven't paid my registration since at least a year before we went for that drive.
Does it get veteran or vintage registration?
No, not unless you want club rego. So if you want, if you want club rego, you can only drive it under certain circumstances, which is completely impractical and useless.
You can't daily drive it, basically.
No, and you got to join a club, and I had full rego for it because I want to actually drive my car. But I don't think I've paid rego in 2 years, so I assume it's unregistered.
Well, it's off the road. So it's off the road.
I assume so, because I have not paid rego, which I assume means it's no longer registered.
That means you're going to have to get another roadworthy one to get it back on the road, you peanut.
It's annoying. Brilliant. Well, I've been in this house. It just sits in the garage. I can't really get out. I've got waiting to get back to the Dainton.
How are you going to get it over to your new house? You've got to get one of those temporary plate figures.
We'll figure it out.
Oh.
Okay. All right. We've got to get through these questions.
If you can't afford the rego, you can't afford the car.
Oh, it's not about not being able to afford it. It's just like normal cheap rego. I'd never got an update, so I never paid it.
Is it insured?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think I've gotten any letters.
Cars are fucking antique.
I got to look into this shit. I'm busy. Okay.
Do you know who you are not like? Right? Do you want to know a car owner that I know who's very, very good at owning cars?
I'll tell you. I know who you're going to say.
Who is
Sandy
it?
Ross.
No.
Oh.
Ferris Bueller's dad. Oh, no, sorry. Cameron's dad.
He ended up getting a Ferrari smashed to shit.
No. Yes, the Ferrari got smashed to shit. So Cameron's dad was the best car owner. Have a look at the fucking garage those cars were stored in. It was like on the side of a hill, glass all around.
My car is in a garage. It's been very well stored. It's undercover.
Yeah, but at least Cameron's dad.
No teenager is going to come in here and smash my car to shit the way that happened. No one's getting into this garage.
Yeah, that's right. But Cameron's dad's Ferrari had like 16 miles on it or something like that. And there was other cars in there that they didn't steal on Ferris Bueller's day off.
Well, mine's fine, sitting in there nice. Actually, I don't even know if it's still in there. I haven't checked in a while. I really hope it is still in there. All right, Matthew Bennett says, is it only classified as a question if it has question colon in front of it?
Yes.
Okay. Lee McAllister, I know this guy. Given that this,
can I share my screen because you need to see this garage?
Fuck's sake! All right.
Am I allowed to share screen?
Well, no, I asked the same thing, and you said yes. So I'm just going to say yes.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you go to the security tab and just? It's a fucking
I didn't disable shit. It's not a default setting. There you go.
Yeah.
Send it.
Right. Look at that garage. Can you see that garage?
Well, why is that any better than my garage? Give me one reason why that's better than my garage.
It's made of glass. It's steel.
Why is glass better?
Of a hill.
Why is glass better?
Because you can see the cars.
That means someone's going to steal it.
No one's going to steal it. There's a fence down there on the bottom.
Their own son stole it.
That's a fucking sick garage.
It's a sick garage, but it's not protecting the cars any better than mine is.
That's not the point.
It's doing a disservice to the car. They're going to get light struck in the sun. Everyone who walks past is going to want to steal the car.
That is,
you can't even drive it out of there because it's not even angling towards the door. It's got like a.
You can drive it out of there. Ferris Bueller drove it out of there, and when he drove it out of there, he was like, had a big grin on his face.
It's a nice looking garage, but it's not doing any service to the car.
I think you should move your house to the side of Magic Mountain.
Okay.
And fucking build that.
All right.
That would be sick.
How am I going to get the car there? It's not registered. Or insured. I don't even know if it's there.
You can get day registration, mate. It's easy.
Okay. All right. Lee McAllister Smiley says, given the state of underwhelming traction of current crowdfunding in the brewery sector and the word that this is a quiet time compared to the number of raises coming up, do you think that funding may become restricted on these crowdfunding platforms? And I asked him what he meant. And he just meant people have already invested in some campaigns, and have they kind of invested enough, they're not going to invest in any more type thing.
That's a good question. We may have done enough this year for a while. Because yours at the start of the year, Bridge Road, Karsha, Dainton's, Three Ravens, Future Magic. And I think we might have extracted, as an industry, the money that's currently available, willing to be invested in breweries right now. Via
that mechanism. Yeah. But it only takes a strong brand to change that. Like I think it's there's a lot of experimentation happening at the moment. There's brands that don't really have any following that are doing a crowdfunding and seeing how it goes. This, if this was an option to me, I would have sent it back in the day. I didn't have the option. There's experimentation happening. Not to say that there's not a big brand going to come out later on in the year and do a massive crowdfunding that smashes every record. Like that could very well happen.
Yeah.
But I do tend to agree. I tend to agree that activity is slowing, and
it's like jelly beans.
I think it's got a lot to do with just the fact that, like, I don't think there's that many more big acquisitions coming.
No,
And
jelly
like,
beans.
What? Go on. What does that mean?
You ever bought a bag of jelly beans?
No, but I went to the doctor once and he gave me like some jelly beans, and then
Right, a big bag of jelly beans.
I don't go out and buy jelly beans, Hen. Just tell me what the analogy is.
Well, the thing is even if you had a big bag of jelly beans, you're not going to eat all the jelly beans in one sitting.
You need to explain this analogy.
So every crowdfunding is a jelly bean. And there's only so many jelly beans you can have before you feel full, and you need to stop eating jelly beans and maybe have some broccoli.
This is not dietary advice.
There's way too many jelly beans being consumed at the moment.
Yeah. There's a lot.
And I think that's where we're at currently.
Yeah,
so
that's probably fair. All right. Paul Metcalf, lexicon.
I could have said marshmallows. Could have been marshmallows.
What? Yeah, if you said marshmallow instead of broccoli, you mean? Or
jelly beans.
Or jelly beans. Huh. Jelly beans is better because you got different colors and.
Yeah.
All right. Paul Metcalf, lexicon color hasn't been mentioned at all in the last 3 episodes.
Fuck, he's right.
This is a good point. So
you posted some photos of your house the other day.
I did, the Dainton.
And it was painted.
It's painted. And my dad.
What color is it painted?
Past. Oh, it's painted lexicon. That's the thing.
No, sorry.
That exterior color is lexicon.
Oh, outside, but you posted some inside as well.
Half inside, full outside. That's it. You know this.
Mm.
But my dad and stepmom came down the other day and they were like, "Oh, it'd be good to see the house." I'm like, "You can't see the house. It's a construction site."
Can't call it a house. It's a Dainton.
Dainton, exactly.
Did you tell them it was a Dainton?
No, I did not tell them that. I just said they don't listen to me. They don't listen to me. I said you can't see it. It's a construction site. You're not supposed to walk through it. And then they came down to my house and they're like, "Oh, we checked out your house." And I was like, "Oh yeah, looks good from the outside." And they're like, "No, we like fully walked in there and just walked around and
because it's not a lock-up stage.
Thing." I was like,
yeah. So the next milestone you've got is lock-up stage.
I think it's lock-up stage well and truly by now. It's just it was fucking.
So
open.
how did they get in there?
It was open. There was a guy in there painting some shit or doing some electrical or something. So they just walked in. It was during the day.
That's smart.
They're smart, but yeah. Anyway, they said, "What's going on with the outside of the house? Like, it's very white. What other colors are you using?
It's not white. It's practically grey.
What other colors are you using on the exterior of the house?" And I'm like, "No, that's it. It's brick and it's the lexicon and that's it." And I said, I said brick and white and that's it. And I said, actually, it's not white. It's lexicon.
Mm.
And that was the end of the conversation. They didn't seem happy with it, but that's fine. But
it's not their house.
It's not their house. And also the word lexicon was used here only a couple of days ago.
Mm.
And it's now been used on this episode.
How long until it's done?
2 months.
Not bad.
My lease ends on 9th of October, and they are saying it's going to be ready by then. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Hopefully it lines up. Otherwise, I'm going to be homeless for a while. You got a spare bedroom, don't you, Hendo?
Yeah. No.
I'll drive the Volvo up, put a turbo on it from your scooter. All right. Darren Gittins. Question on breweries with multiple locations. If I walk into, for example, Ballistic Bundaberg and sit down for a Hawaiian haze and think, I'm supporting local, how good am I? You're awesome.
Pretty good.
Does it matter the beer probably made in Brisbane? This is a great question.
Yeah, there would be some beers at the Bundaberg Ballistic that would be brewed at Bundaberg.
Yeah. Hawaiian haze wouldn't be one of them, probably.
Definitely not, because it's a volume beer. But some of the specialties, maybe.
Yeah. I think it is.
How
I
much
think-
beer is coming out of Black Ops 3 at the moment?
Fuck all.
Why?
Well, because we're still in the process of working out, like, because we had Mick leave, we had a whole process where we're kind of redoing a whole bunch of stuff in the brewery to clean it up and get it going well, and working out how to staff it. There's fucking enormous challenges that happen when you run multiple venues. And like we thought when we took over Black Ops 3, we would brew like core range up there, and then was like, well, it really doesn't make sense to do that.
No.
So we were just doing limiteds there. And then you sort of think, okay, well, does it just make sense to brew beer that you only sell there? But if you brew beer there and you got 1,000-litre tanks, you end up with a shitload of kegs.
No, you
So
need
you
to
end up-
brew beers you send to the other venue.
Exactly. So you end up sending to the other venues. So you have venues like, like HQ, you could have a beer where you've got a beer that's brewed at Brisbane that gets served at HQ. And it's not, I suppose it's not really 100% true to the idea of having, the Burley brewery that brews all the beer that you go there to drink, but it is just what you have to do. So we're actually trying to.
You've got a lot of capacity for small batch beers.
Oh, 100%.
And there might be too much for you, even all the tap rooms you got too much from, for you to have.
Yeah, and there's also, because we have the subscription, the monthly home guard subscription. So Brisbane was used quite a bit for that, and is from now on going to be used a bit more for that, because that size makes more sense. And then you'd have like a birthday beer, and you'd think, okay, the tap room, if it's a BH2 birthday, does that mean every single one of the birthday beers you do there need to be brewed at BH2? And you think, okay, well, it'd be good if it was, but do you really need it to be? Probably not. So all of that comes into it. But I think fundamentally, if you call something a brew pub, and there's other breweries that do this where they call it a brew pub and they've got tanks there and they never brew there, which I think is not cool. I think if you call something a brew pub, or if you've got brewery tanks there, you need to be using them.
Yes.
But it is much more complicated than you think. You're not going to brew a core range beer in Bundaberg when your brewery is you got a production brewery in the south of Brisbane. Do you think different? What do you think?
No, it's a I appreciate the challenge, man. It's like, how are you going to utilize all those small tanks and make all these different beers when you just don't have the demand for all these different beers?
Yeah. I think like in our situation, it makes a lot of sense to have like a central brew team, and then have people that go to different sites.
Actually, to think about it, there should be like a beer that just comes out of that brewery that's unique to that brewery, just for one of the taps.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
That you can only get, it's brewed there, it's tapped there. You can't get it at the other tap rooms. You got to go to Black Ops 3 or HQ or whatever to get it.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that.
And you just keep, and it just stays on all the time.
Yeah. I think that's cool. I think part of the
and it
problem
might be
is,
something
like,
that might be a bit of a volume play as well. So, and yes, it might cannibalize, say, Black Ops Pale or Goat or something like that. But that's okay because you've got other places to sell that particular beer.
Yeah.
And that's the experience that you get from going to Black Ops 3.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, I think that could be done. I think part of the problem is that, like, our tap rooms are all quite small. Like, they're not big venues. They don't make a whole lot of money. Brisbane, it's not big enough to have a full-time head brewer brewing there. It's not a big enough site. There's not enough work to do. There's not enough volume sold through the venue for that. So that's part of the process of working out how to manage it all. It's kind of like, how do you have a site with a few small tanks that's not big enough for a head brewer, but brewing happens. It's not something you can go and do for 4 hours and then leave. It happens over a period of time, 24 hours a day, basically. Yes. So that's part of the challenge, and it's tricky. But I do think if you've got a venue that's put forward as a brewery, you do need to be brewing beer at the venue.
I think you should have a beer that comes out of each of your small breweries that's on all the time, and then another beer that's brewed also at the same brewery, but it's also uniquely brewed at each of the breweries.
I think
so
that's
it's common
cool
across
too.
all of them as
You mean
well.
like the same beer?
Same beer.
That's cool. I think that's a cool idea.
So then you got two, therefore you got 2 taps. And then the rest of it comes down to NPD.
Is NPD like when you've got a computer game and there's like a player that like repeats all the same lines, like in Jumanji?
No, that's an NPC.
Oh, damn it. I thought I knew what you were talking about.
NPD is new
product
development.
I thought I knew what you were talking about. Oh, damn it.
You're really good at this brewery CEO shit, aren't you?
All right. Right. Darren Gittins, who also asked the last question, which was a very good one. Part 2. How does having multiple sites affect the brewing schedule? Will Black Ops Brisbane knock out the same core range, and how do you ensure they taste the same coming? Yeah, I think we answered that one.
Yeah, I think
brew schedule is really super fucking difficult with multiple locations. Super difficult. And I think we answered the questions in the last one. All right. Andrew Green, how many alcohol-free days do you guys target per week? Oh, that's a good question. And how hard do you find moderating your booze intake being in the industry? Good question.
Great question. I went pretty hard at the start of COVID and all the lockdowns and that sort of thing, and had a little bit of a minor health scare. It wasn't anything major or anything like that, but enough to go to a doctor. And so I don't drink on school nights. However, since we started this podcast, I have a beer on a Wednesday. So I don't drink on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever's.
Nice. That's pretty good.
How about you?
I don't know. I don't so much think about alcohol-free days. I just try to limit the amount of times I drink like too much. Or I try to be careful with wine, because wine is my weakness. Having a couple of beers, I'll have a couple of beers. I'm not that worried about it, but I like wine way too much. Like if I got a bottle of wine here right now, I'd drink it all easy.
Oh,
no problem. It's too good. It's too tasty, too high ABV. I don't do that with beer. I don't do
red
it
or
with
white.
anything. Hey?
Red or white?
Either. But like my absolute favorite would be like just a light skin contact red. So it's like it's almost like a rosé between red and white. No, it's I don't know. Rosé, it's a bit more red than a rosé, but that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having a glass of wine with my brother on Friday.
I love wine.
We're going to go for a steak, some red.
Yeah, that's it. That's the best.
That's what you do.
Where are you going for a steak?
Well, last time we went to the boat shed over the regatta.
Yum.
And we had this dry age, 60-day dry age steak.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Pretty good. I've never had dry age steak before.
I have not either. What's it like?
Meaty.
Is it?
Very meaty.
Okay.
You should do it.
How do you get your steak?
As in, how do I like it cooked?
Yeah.
Medium rare.
Okay. So it's still meaty. It's just.
Yeah. How do you get your steak cooked?
I'd go medium rare. Yeah.
That doesn't really sound like an answer for someone who just knows what they want when they order a steak.
Okay. If I make steak often myself, for me and the kids. So I'd say I'd probably maybe rare, medium rare to rare, but yeah.
Oh, okay, right. So you're not like a medium well guy or anything like that.
No. But I'm cool. I'm cool. Anything between medium and rare or raw, carpaccio, anything.
Blue.
Well, like carpaccio.
You'd love France, mate. You would love France. So if you go, I remember when I was a tour guide.
Is it France or is it France?
Well, I say France, so fuck off. And so when I was a tour guide, we used to stay in Lyon. We used to stay at this really shitty hotel that normally you'd rent the rooms by the hour. And there was a restaurant next door and you could get a steak American. Right? American.
Okay, sorry.
AINE, American. And like lots of the passengers would order this steak American, thinking they're going to get a steak. Never asked how it was cooked, how it was going to be cooked. Basically, it would come out raw.
Oh, that's fine. I'd eat the shit out of that.
I wouldn't have a problem. And a raw egg was steak tartare with a raw egg.
Oh, fuck the raw egg, get that out of my face. But I'll eat the raw meat, no problem.
Mm.
So dry age,
like-
but dry age. What makes it meaty?
Well, when you dry age a steak,
It's like blue cheese. It's like the blue cheese kind of.
yeah, it just.
That's what's
I don't know. I actually don't know the science behind it, so I'm not even going to make a comment.
I'm super keen. Is it good though? Like, what would you prefer? Dry age, medium rare, and normal?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
When you go
I
there,
like cooking.
are you going to ask?
I like
for dry
cooking
age?
steak at home, right?
Yeah.
And so often what I'll do is like a reverse sear. So I'll put a steak in the oven on a rack.
Oh, interesting.
And set the oven to 150 degrees or something like that. And my oven's got the little internal thermometer thing.
Oh,
and so
wait,
you can actually, it's got you plug in a thermometer and you can stick it in the meat and it tells you the temperature of the meat.
It has that built into the oven.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so basically you cook it till you get to 45 degrees internal temperature. 52 is medium rare. Wrap it up in foil, let it rest for 10 minutes. It'll come up to 52. And then I'll get the flamethrower out and a bit of butter and burn it on the outside.
What? That's how you cook steak?
That's a reverse sear. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Have you never done that?
I don't even know what the fuck a flamethrower is. What?
It's like a butane thing with a flamethrower and you burn it.
Wow. And tastes good?
Thick. Yeah.
That's amazing. I've done the opposite of that, but that's not important, is it? Because yours is the reverse. Mine's just the normal. If I do the opposite,
Yeah, see
of that.
Yeah.
Well, I've seared
Gotta
and then
watch
put it in
the
the oven afterwards.
Depends how thick the steak is.
Yeah,
But
I don't normally put it in the oven.
You could do the sear on the outside, then put it in the oven and let the internal temperature come up.
That's what I would do if it was a thick piece of steak.
Yes, of course.
But what I normally do is I just go to Aldi, get the eye fillet, and just slice it so it's about 2 centimeters thick.
All right.
Sear it 2 minutes, 30 seconds either side on high temp. That's it. That's what I do.
Okay.
And it's awesome.
Have you got a sous vide?
I don't know what that is.
That's where you cook in the water?
I sure don't.
In the plastic bag?
I definitely don't have that. No.
Oh, you should sous vide steak.
Really?
Yeah. So you set the water temperature to 55 degrees Celsius and put it in a vacuum backpack bag and you cook it for 2 hours at 55 degrees. Wow. Then you burn it. Falls apart.
Okay. What sort of steak? Just like shitty steak?
No, any steak.
All right. I've done a bit of smoking.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I enjoy it. Did a brisket a couple of weeks ago. It was fucking amazing.
What sort of smoker have you got?
That super entry level one from BCF, the mountain. What's it called?
Is it like a bullet one with charcoal on the bottom?
Yeah. What's it called? Mountain. Smoky Mountain, I think it's called. Smoky Mountain. Yeah. It's like the absolute entry level smoker. It's legit as shit. The Weber Smoky Mountain.
Angus Grant says Black Ops 3, hot liquor tank, sous vide steak night.
Ooh, I like that.
Great idea.
Yeah, this This Weber Smoky Mountain, it's $420 from BCF. And absolutely unbelievable brisket I made in there. It was so good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good. Dry age is good. Sous vide is good. Just get into it.
All right. We got a couple more questions. Fucking hell, there's a lot of
How many questions have we done?
A couple more questions? Or are you done?
Yeah, 2 more and then we're done because I think we're up to 10.
This is a long ass question. All right. Pete Weldon, what does a small brewery do when you have released a beer called Chronic IPA and another larger brewery releases a beer called the Chronic IPA? Okay. Do you want to start with that or do you want me to read the rest of the question? What do you do?
No.
Read the rest?
Just read the rest.
Isn't it considered fair to at least Google search and maybe even an Untapped search first for local examples, then speak to the brewery first? That has been our mantra since day one. Have we reached a new era of too many breweries and the code of respect being disintegrated. 9
Yes.
likes on that comment too.
So I believe that what Smokey is referring to is Currumbin Valley have done Chronic IPA and Akasha have done the Chronic West Coast Double IPA.
Okay.
Now, in the NPD phase of whenever you're doing something like that, and you've got a big checklist when you do new product development, right? I've seen it.
Yeah.
It should be on that list. Google the name on Untapped and Google. Make sure it's unique. And probably on there as well,
yeah,
it would be make sure that the label doesn't violate anyone's intellectual property. That was not on your list yet.
Here's the thing. There's a difference between, it depends what the product is. It depends what the product is. If it's a fun tap room release that you sell for a day and it's gone after a day and it's all in good fun, you pay a little bit less attention to whether or not you're going to own the intellectual property rights for that particular beer.
Yes.
Compared to if it's a brand that you're going to release and you need to secure the IP.
Yes.
And if it does turn into something big, it's going to present a very big problem down the track.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's put there as a process generally in a community where people are releasing shitloads of beers, I think his process is good. If you're releasing lots of beers and these aren't branded beers, it's just like, this is kind of a fun thing you're doing. This is a beer we're releasing. This is what I would do. It wouldn't be an official process, but it would be like, we'd Google it. If there wasn't an obvious beer that's done this already, we'd go on Untapped. If there's not loads of check-ins for a local brewery with the same beer, and then we'd fucking send it. That's what you generally do. And I think if we were to follow that process and we thought we'd call a beer the Chronic IPA, and we went on to Untapped and saw that Currumbin Valley, who are a past Gabs winner, who are quite well known, have got a beer called Currumbin, got a beer called Chronic IPA, then we wouldn't do one that's the same. Yes. So I think his process there is good enough for a very small batch, limited beer that's going to disappear very quickly. And it obviously that's obviously not what they did, but that makes sense to me.
This has happened before. So Firestone Walker did a beer called Abacus.
Yeah.
And so did a little brewery. I think it looks like it's Tring Brewery. Did Abacus? No, that doesn't sound right. It's Australian brewery. Anyway, so there was
the Abacus?
Just Abacus. And so basically these two breweries realized they had the beer of the same name. And so Firestone Walker did Sukaba, which is Abacus in reverse.
Love that.
That's
great.
It's been done. Happens a lot. And, there's a lot of beers out there and you should always expect for your beer, if you haven't trademarked it, to have the name copied, if not by an Australian brewery or brewery in your own country, then by a brewery in another country.
Right. But I think I sympathize with his point a little bit in that, like 100% of Chronic IPA is going to be sold locally and 100% of the Chronic IPA is going to be sold locally. So really,
sure, like
the local market is the only thing that's relevant in this particular case. And I do tend to agree. Like, I don't know what decision making they went to, but I do tend to agree that like a simple Google search, Untapped search is probably the way to go.
Yes,
and nothing more than that.
Yeah. Yep.
And the word the or the word beer at the end of the name or whatever, like in trademark law, this is not legal advice. Yes. But they tend to chop those out because they're irrelevant and look at the actual name. And if it's the same name, then you're just copying the other person.
Yes. Like the mint slice.
Small batch staff beer. It'll be gone in a week.
Radio.
Right. Tom Northwood. What pathway does the boss recommend for getting into beer judging? Are some certifications regarded more highly than others? And he misspelled then, and that's triggering me, but that's okay. It should be THAN, not THEN.
Yes. Great question.
Is IBD, it's all it's cracked up to be, or some of the best brewers can't.
Well, that's another question.
Wait, sorry. There was also another question in the last question.
Yes.
In Pete's question is what do you do about it? What was the question? What does a small brewery do when they come into that situation.
Nothing you
Which
can
is
do
which is the
about it.
part we didn't really address.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, there's always
You
something
can do,
you can do.
you can, okay. So there's two options. You can get all aggro and antsy and get on social media and, you know, be a bastard about it. Or you can do like Firestone Walker did. And they just went and made a collaboration beer with that brewery.
What about the Brewdog Aldi one? That was pretty good. When Aldi
that's funny.
straight up ripped off their thing and they end up just doing a collab with them. That was pretty boss.
Why not?
Yeah. So turning the bad into
try and turn it into something fun. Don't get aggro about it.
Yeah. Smoke more weed and then you'll just get way more relaxed about it, I guess.
That's right.
Is that the...
If you're going to do a beer called the Chronic.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Beer judging, Hendo.
Yeah.
Are some certifications regarded more highly than others?
Okay. So first up, don't need a certification in sensory in order to get into beer judging. You could rock up tomorrow and go, I'm a master BJCP, blah, 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 blah. Rock up to the ALBAs and they're going to go, nah. Right. How you get into judging is by stewarding. That's how I got into judging. And so basically in a competition, there are two sets of people who are equal and are both important to the operation of the competition. And that's the judges and the stewards. So the judges actually do the smelling and tasting and evaluating of the beer. And the stewards actually do the pouring and making sure that the judges don't know what beer that they're smelling and tasting. And the competition cannot run without both of them operating symbiotically. Okay. So when I started judging, I did 2 years as a steward at the Australian International Beer Awards in 2012, 2013. I was actually on a 5-year program. It was the steward to judge program. So it was 2 years as a steward and then 3 years as an associate judge before they let you become a full-blown judge. It's much easier these days. But you have to judge through, if you want to become a judge, you got a steward. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's the pathway.
If you steward at the Royal Queensland Beer Awards, and you do it for at least 2 years, you will get a rock solid look in as a judge if you choose to go that way.
You heard it here first. That's got to be it, Hendo. It's been a long ass episode, mate.
Yeah. It's been good though.
It has been good. Very good. Love your work, mate.
See you next week.
See you next week.